Welcome, Mother Mean Homesteader here. Today is Friday, May 15th, 2020. And even though it's cloudy here in northern Maine, it's going to be about 60 degrees. So I'm going to take advantage of the weather and do some gardening and plant some herbs. Real quick before I want to show you what we're going to be doing today, I just wanted to show you that I finally got my weeping willow. There it is, folks, the Wisconsin weeping willow. There it is. It's been planted yesterday, and supposedly did a little research on this plant, and they grow 3 feet per year. So by the time the season's over, it should be 3 feet tall, 3 more feet tall. And it's about 4 feet right now, so about 7 feet it will be. And another thing we did is let the chicks out of their brooder. They were time to get out of that little thing, and here they are having fun right now. I actually lowered the ramp that goes inside the coop so they can hop up and down. It was a little bit too high, so I lowered it for them. Now they're starting to, they're learning how to scratch and peck and get food out of the ground and everything. They're cute little guys. Aren't they so cute? Anyways, and that's that. So what we're doing today out in the garden is we're going to be planting the kale finally. I already emptied out the compost bin over there. You can see the compost is on the ground. I emptied it out, put it in the wagon. I have to bring the wagon down, and the boxes are gonna. I already put the Pro Mix in this box, and just needs to get the compost. I put the Pro Mix, and compost needs to go in there next. So we're going to plant the kale, and I'll meet you back here as soon as everything is all done to give you a look-see. Okay guys, welcome back. I just got done doing planting out the kale, and bonus, there was 2 plants per pot. So instead of having 6, looks like I got 12 kale plants going on over here, which is okay with me. So that's not a bad price, $28 for 12 kale plants. They've all been planted. I put half the compost in this box and half in the other box. And yeah, everything looks fantastic. One of them actually broke, but that's okay. I'm sure it will grow. I also did a lot more weeding inside these boxes. Not this one too much, but the one right over there. The last time I worked on this box was right when everything was deforested out here, beginning of the month. And over there in the corner, right around that area right here, it was all, I didn't get to work that area when I weeded out the box, and there was tons of weeds in this garden bed, like rooted weeds, and I pulled as many as I could out, and I worked the new soil, the Pro Mix soil, inside there, as well as the other bed, and in the composter and everything. And this is where the cabbage is going to be going. I did come upon an interesting little weed. I've never seen anything like it before, and I'll show you it. It's white with pink tips. Even though it's pretty, I'm not sure what it is, so I'm going to have to do some research and find out what exactly that is, because I found that embedded in that garden box right there. And these are the weeds that I pulled out of the garden box, all the rooted weeds, mainly just roots. And while I was out here, I brought my pruning shears with me, and I pruned the 2 low-hanging bushes over here on the plum tree, and I see some weeds coming up right over here. I'm going to pull these out real quick while the ground is still soft. There we go. And this one over here. These weeds right here, they have like little prickly thorns on them. And I usually do this with my gloves, but I just took my gloves off because they're pretty damp from the compost. And I'll just take these branches and put them inside the wagon and dump out the wagon. And there's one more weed back there that I gotta get before I leave the garden. It's right over there. See these things? Actually, no, I think it's part of a tree, maybe. This looks like a tree. That's exactly what's over there. Maybe it's part of the, maybe it's a new plum tree. Because the plums, see, or they just rot out in the ground. It might be a new plum tree, I don't know. I'll have to do a little bit of research on that as well. I'll figure it out. Either way, gotta get these dandelions out of here. It's alright though. Either way, the kale has been planted finally. I don't think there's going to be any more snow, but if there is any more coming my way, I'll just cover up the bed with some plastic. That's what those arches are for, and that should protect the plant, the vegetable, the plants from getting any kind of damage. Next up, I'm going to take you over to the greenhouse. I'll meet you back over there. I got my herb seeds in, and what I'm going to do is utilize these 6 bins that I got that with kale were in. I have a total of 8 herb seeds, and I'll utilize those. I'll just repurpose those, reuse them to start my seedlings in those, as well as 2 other ones, because I got 8 seeds, so I need 2 extra containers. So I'll meet you back at the greenhouse, and I'll show you what seeds we're going to be planting. Okay, I'm trying to position the camera so you can see everything, and the tray's hanging halfway off of the table, but we're in the greenhouse now, and I'm about to plant my herb seeds here. And like I said, on the outside garden, I'm utilizing the pots that the kale was in, and I also got 2 off the shelf from behind me. Okay, so the seeds that we're going to be planting today, I'm just going to point them out, okay? This one right here is basil, aroma 2 basil. There's 50 seeds in this one. And these will all come from Urban Farmer, okay? This is basil. And then we have the Italian oregano. And each one of these packages tells you the germination rate for each one. For the basil, it's 95% germination rate, and for the oregano, it's a 90% germination rate. And we have the common rosemary, also 90% germination rate, all from Urban Farmer. I got them in yesterday. We have the broadleaf sage, and that also has a 90% germination rate. And over here we have chive, okay, and that's a 90% germination rate. Dill is 85% germination rate, okay. Lemongrass, I've never grown lemongrass before, but I'm going to try it this year. It's good for teas and stuff like that, so I'm going to grow some of this. And then we have our thyme, and this is also, both of these, the lemongrass and the thyme, are 90% germination rate. Okay, so I filled each pot with the dry soil, okay. I took it from one of the garden beds, and I have, when it's time for me to actually plant these in my 3-tier shelf on the porch, I have a bag of Pro-Mix for that. So, before I plant any of the seeds in here, I just want to wet the water a little bit, the soil a little bit with some water to give it a little bit of moistened texture, because if it's too dry, the seeds are going to float to the top, and I don't want that. So I'll be right back while I grab my hose. Okay, folks, I'm back. Okay, let me just hook this doohickey up here. I got quick connects on everything here. So I'm going to switch the dial to a mist and just turn on just a little bit. I'm just giving them a quick little moistened up nicely like that, and just put this off to the side. Okay, next, what I'm going to do, I usually just use a pen, the tip of a pen to put the holes in each, for the seeds. So I'm just going to put a hole in the center. Well, you can't really see what I'm doing. And it looks like the soil's a little bit moist, but that's okay. A hole in the center, okay, as you can see, like that. I don't know how good you can see, but I'm going to add a little bit more water because it's still dry. I don't like when it sticks to the soil, when the soil sticks like that. Let me just put this on to shower instead. of mist. Okay, I'll just wet it a little bit more. See how the soil floats like that when it gets wet? I don't want the seeds to come up and get lost. Okay, so that should be good. Okay, let's try this again. I'll put this off right here. Okay. Much better. Okay, there we go. So I'm just probably putting in about 1/2 inch inside the soil. Herb seeds tend to be really small, and I'm going to put between 2 and 3 seeds in each, and they should have came better with better containers for these, but that's okay. I'll just transplant these. I'll just protect these inside one of those foil envelopes. So the first one we're going to plant is the rosemary. Just put a little bit in my hand like that. And let's see, 3 of these seeds. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now put the rest back into the envelope. Like that. Okay, put that off to the side right here. Next one is going to be dill. And dill seeds are a little bit bigger, but I'm still going to put 3 in the hole. That's what she said. Am I kidding? No, I'm not. Yes, I am. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and put these back in here. There we go. And you can see one little sneak didn't get in the hole over there, so we'll just push that in there like that. Next is chive. I love cooking with chive. It's good for soups, you know, sprinkle on top of soups. Chive seeds are all black. Kind of looks like green onion. Green onion seeds are a little bit bigger than the chive seeds. And this one right here, just grab these 3. What I should probably invest in is some tweezers. I'm going to actually just put all of them there. Actually, you know, I'm just going to sprinkle the chive right on the top, and I'll just put a little bit of soil on the top of that. Okay? Because chive is like real skinny, and they just grow, it grows like grass, basically. Okay, so now we got the sage. Ooh, it came out really fast. Sage looks like little tiny little black marbles. And I'll just do 3 in the hole. Okay. And I'm going to separate them, obviously, when it's time to actually plant them in their permanent locations. I'm going to just, you know what, folks, before I get ahead of myself here, I'm going to grab a couple of, because I want to make sure I get these right, marked right. Okay, so the first one we planted, I put everything in a row here, was the rosemary, so I'll just write rose, and then we did dill, and then chive, and then our sage. Okay. Before I get ahead of myself, I forget where everything is. Alright, so the next one that we're doing is oregano. Just write oregano here on this. Wipe that dry. Or egg. Okay. So, oregano, next. Wow, these are super tiny. Holy crap. I'm just probably going to do the same thing I did with the sage. I mean the chives, and just sprinkle the top. And just cover the the oregano and the chive with soil instead of burying it. Okay, so next up is the lemongrass. Is next. Let's put lemon. Okay. I was going to put little sticks in each one, but I'll do that when they're actually on the porch. And the lemongrass, I'm going to do the same thing. So I sprinkle it on like that. These look like little dandelion shoots. You know, when the dandelions bloom to those white blooms, and then they float away. Well, that's what that looks like. Let me just sprinkle it around like that. Okay. And next is the basil. Love basil. I could not stand basil before. I started eating basil, and I can't. I mean, I love basil. It's a little too much. I mean, I'm just gonna put like not that many, but some in the hole and some on the top, because I love basil. I mean, I'll freeze dry basil. And then thyme. These envelopes are super flimsy, just regular plastic paper envelopes, and these are real tiny, so I'm going to do the same over here. And look, that one's empty. Okay. Alright, so I'm just going to run over next to this pot right here so I can cover all these except for this one and that one, and this one was sage, and sage has those big tubes. Okay, so everything else is getting sprinkled with soil, so I'll be right back. Right over here. I'm just moving right over here. So grab a little bit of soil on the beds. And I'm using this bed for the soil because it's light, so just a little bit. I don't want to drown the seeds with too much soil. I want to make sure that they crop up for me, you know. I mean, I waited like a month and a half for these seeds because the coronavirus. So everything is like backed up everywhere, especially for growing foods and everything. Folks right now are trying to become more self-sufficient than ever before because they know that there's going to be shortages real soon. It's already starting. I mean, okay, there we go. A little bit more. Make sure everybody's covered up here. I don't want, like I said, I don't want to totally drown them, but I want to make sure that they don't float to the top. My son, who's in California at 29 Palms, he's a Marine. I was actually on the phone with him while he was planting flowers, and his flower seeds were also real tiny, and we did the same exact thing. I told him to do the same exact thing as I just did. My other son, who's in Ecuador, about to have a baby soon, due in December. He's out in Ecuador with his fiance, and he works in the garden every day in the back over there to keep themselves busy and to stay indoors. I know Ecuador is really bad with the coronavirus. Alright, so anyways, I'm going to give a shout out to my two sons. Hey Jerry, hey Mac. Okay, so now I'm going to water them. Again, slow stream. I don't want any of these floating to the top. Okay, and I think I forgot to mark these last two over here. I've got to write the names of them on the containers as soon as I water these. Let's give them a nice bath here. Make sure they're nice and moist so they can germinate and grow and give mommy some herbs so I can use them and use you. Okay. Alright, so there we go. Everything's been watered, and okay, lemongrass, and then did I mark this one? No, I didn't. So we have the lemongrass, and I know the last one was the last one I just threw away. It was thyme. So let me write thyme on the last one, and basil is this one right here. So let me just wipe this real quick and write thyme, tea white, and then basil. Love basil. I can't wait to pick up my 3-tier shelf at Tractor Supply. It's going to be going on the porch so I can have access to all my herbs whenever I want to use them. Sorry, so everything's all situated here. I'm just going to leave this right over here on this workstation because I got my other station over there is pretty much full. And yesterday, over the winter, I was growing some basil and chive and parsley, and I just took them out yesterday out of the house, from the window. They were in these little things, these little terracotta pots. They were in there growing in the window, and I brought them in here and transplanted them because they needed it. So, like I said, I love basil, so here is my basil and my parsley. Okay, and it looks like I didn't have any parsley. I didn't have any parsley. I guess the lemongrass was supposed to be parsley, but it's okay. I got it right here, and this will be transplanted back. I'll probably keep this basil pot right inside the greenhouse and bring the rest up to the porch. But yeah, so I got the parsley already growing and the basil, and I just have them over here on the shelf right here, and in back of me, I'll take you over there. Oops. Okay, so everything is growing good over here. The seedlings are doing fantastic. The radishes are really coming along. The Brussels sprouts, the beets, the cabbage, the lettuce, the California peppers I still don't see yet. And I don't have any tomatoes yet, so I'm going to have to plant some tomatoes today. And this is the broccoli over here, and this was supposed to be tomatoes, but none of them are coming out, and I don't see any California peppers coming out either. So, and I'll give it a little bit more time. If they don't come out, that's fine. If they do, great. And then that's it. And I got this is all my green onion over here. There's one right there peeking out. I think that's a green onion. If you're not, when the other green onions come out and it doesn't look like that, I'll just pick it out. Anyways, that's all I wanted to show you guys. Thanks for joining. Oh, before I go, here, all this feed right here, the black oil sunflowers, the whole oats, the whole corn over here, and I also got some oyster shell. And I'm still waiting for my diatomaceous earth. And I gotta also get a bag of high protein dog kibble, and this is all going to be made into chicken feed for my chickens. This recipe actually comes from Becky's Homestead. She's on YouTube. Check her out. She's really good. I'll put the link in the description down below, as well as a link for all this stuff that I got at Tractor Supply. It's a little bit pricey. It's $72 for everything, but I want my chickens to be healthy, and I want good quality eggs. So that's why I'm doing it this way. So thanks so much for joining me here on the homestead. We'll do some updates later on, and so today let's just do a quick recap what we got done. We planted our kale out in the garden boxes, and I trimmed the prune tree over there, pulled out a couple of weeds, came in the greenhouse, and planted the herbs to get them ready for when the herb garden is on the porch, 3-tier. I'll also put a link in the description of what the shelf that I'm talking about in the description below. Anyways, thanks so much, folks. Have a healthy, wonderful, safe day. Enjoy your weather if you have beautiful weather. Even though it's cloudy, it's still nice and warm. It's going to be 60 degrees today, so I'm enjoying the day today. And thanks so much. If you haven't subscribed, do so now. And if you like the video, don't forget to like the video. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever I upload something new. And let's look at the chick over there. See it in the corner? It's crying out. It's a distress call saying, "I'm lost. Come get me." It'll find its way back. So that's it. Adios, people. If you have to go out, don't go out. But if you absolutely have to go out, like I'm probably going to have to do soon because I need stain for the porch. I got the wrong stuff when the virus wasn't here. So I got to go back and see what I can get. So if you do have to go out like I do, make sure you always stay protected. Your goggles, mask, and gloves. And thankfully, people, like I said, look at this, try and creep back to the front, are wearing masks when they go into the store. And some places won't even let you in unless you're wearing a mask. All right, peace out. Have a glorious, glorious day. God bless. And we'll see you again.